Imagine waking up one day and realizing that someone has been quietly taking your money. Not from your wallet, not from your bank account, not even from your paycheck, but from the value of everything you own. No alarms, no warnings, no permission. A theft so silent, so slow, and so invisible. Most people never notice it. That thief is inflation, and the shocking truth is, governments use it on purpose, not as a mistake, not by accident, but as a silent tax on you. And before we uncover how this hidden system works, hit subscribe to Money Math Decamontry, because once you understand this trick, you'll see money, prices, and government policy with new eyes. Our story begins centuries ago, long before central banks, digital money, or modern economics. Ancient kings faced a problem. They needed money for wars, palaces, soldiers, and luxuries. But raising taxes made citizens angry. So rulers discovered a clever trick. They took gold coins, shaved a little gold off the edges, mixed the rest with cheaper metals, and put the king's face back on the coin. The coin looked the same, but its value was lower. This was the first inflation, not caused by markets, but engineered intentionally by rulers who needed extra wealth without asking their people for it. Centuries later, governments no longer melt coins, they simply print money. Every time a government prints new money, the total supply increases. But here's the trick. When new money enters the system, it reduces the value of the old money already in circulation. Your salary stays the same. Your savings stay the same. But everything you buy, food, fuel, rent, medicine, costs more. Your purchasing power shrinks, even if your income doesn't. This is inflation. And governments rely on it for three powerful reasons. First, inflation reduces their debt. If a government owes $1 trillion and inflation rises, the value of that trillion quietly shrinks. They pay back in weaker, cheaper dollars. You suffer. They gain. Second, inflation boosts tax revenue without raising tax rates. When prices rise, incomes rise. When incomes rise, people enter higher tax brackets. So the government collects more money, even though you're not really earning more in real value. It's a tax increase disguised as normal economics. Third, inflation keeps the public dependent. When prices rise faster than wages, people stop saving and start borrowing. Borrowing creates interest. Interest enriches banks and lenders. And all of it keeps the financial engine spinning. Inflation is not simply an economic phenomenon. It's a policy tool. A silent tax that avoids protests, debates, and resistance. To see how powerful this silent tax is, look at Germany in the 1920s. The government printed mountains of money to pay war debts. Prices doubled in days. A loaf of bread cost more by sunset than it did at sunrise. Money became worthless. Confidence collapsed. This is what happens when inflation escapes control. But in modern economies, inflation is managed carefully. Not too low, not too high. Just enough to benefit the government, without waking up the public. Even today, when you hear officials say a little inflation is good for the economy, what they really mean is a little inflation is good for us because inflation doesn't hit everyone equally. The wealthy store their assets in real estate, stocks, and businesses, things that rise with inflation. Average citizens store their money in bank accounts and salaries, things that do not rise fast enough. Inflation quietly transfers wealth upward, from savers to borrowers, from citizens to governments, from workers to elites. But the most dangerous part of this system is that it relies entirely on one fragile emotion, confidence. If people trust the currency, it works. If they don't, the system collapses. This is why governments fear deflation. This is why central banks target 2% inflation. This is why money printing happens silently. Inflation is a carefully calibrated illusion, a balance between stability and control. And the moment people understand how the system works, they begin to reject it. This is why economic education is almost non-existent in schools. This is why money is kept mysterious, because a well-informed citizen is harder to control than a confused one. Look around the world today. The US, UK, Europe, Japan, South America, inflation is everywhere. Not because people suddenly demanded more expensive food, rent, or transport, but because governments created more money to solve their own problems. During crises, they print. During recessions, they print. During elections, they spend more, then print. And every dollar printed quietly reduces the value of the dollars you've already earned. This is why your grandparents bought homes for a few months' salary, and you can't do it in a decade. This is why rent rises faster than income. This is why savings lose value sitting in a bank. Inflation is the silent drain you never feel until your wallet feels empty. And here's the final twist: inflation will never disappear, because the entire modern financial system depends on it. Without inflation, governments can't service their debt. Without inflation, banks can't expand credit. Without inflation, the financial system stops growing and collapsing becomes the only option. So inflation becomes permanent, a hidden tax that never appears on a bill, but you pay it every single day. But if you understand it, you can learn to protect yourself from it. You can stop being a victim of it. And you can start seeing money the way governments see it, as a tool, not a trap. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe to Money Math Decamentary, where we expose the systems built to control you, so you can finally learn how to control them.